With creating content that you wanted to create, working with Issa Rae, did you feel you were finally where you wanted to be?
Yes, I feel like that's where I was supposed to be. That's why we made the decision to go with Issa Rae Presents and the Color Creative YouTube channel, because we knew that there was an audience that was there that was specifically for us. And Issa Rae and Denise make sure that they allow voices to be the voice that they are. They didn't ask us to change anything. They just wanted to amplify the voice that and perspective that we had already given. So it was just so nice to be at a place that didn't ask you to change anything.
So you could just be Dewey.
Yeah, I could just do my Dewey thing.
Yeah.
That's the kind of environments that I look for.
Nice.
Yeah.
And does that part of like sort of the test as to where you want to be or what you want to do is, do I feel like I can be me and I'm not being controlled into being someone else?
Right. Yes, that is an important component to me being able to flourish as a filmmaker, while yet still being able to accept and work with others in order to make my work better, because it's still a very collaborative effort to creating a film product. You can't do it on your own. It's impossible. But to be able to do it the way that I see myself being able to do it. I mean, you can have a Starbucks or you can have CC's Coffee House. They're not going to do coffee the same way, but you can still enjoy the cup.
Sure.
And so it's the same way with me. It's like, you can enjoy my product, but you can also enjoy the process of doing it as well. Making sure people get lunch breaks, making sure people feel seen, making sure people feel heard in a way that a lot of sets don't necessarily run themselves. And so I get it. It's just the way that I do things, and it's my approach to storytelling. Because I want it to feel authentic behind the camera and in front of the camera as well.
What does filmmaking give you that you don't get anywhere else?
Joy, a pureness in the joy. And it gives me a focus that I don't have anywhere else in my life. Like, in a lot of ways, my actual life is a mess. But my film career is okay, you know, because I have a focus. Like, I can wake up in the morning and know, like, this is the story that I'm telling, and I get to collaborate with other beings and other creative souls and entities who are trying to get to somewhere creative as well. It gives me such pleasure and such joy to be able to do that and to be able to define it as a career, because it wasn't a career when I first started. It was a desire, it was a goal, but it wasn't a career. And now I'm comfortably in a place where it's a career for me, and I'm actually being paid to write screenplays or to put together productions for brands, and it's really, really nice to be able to do that.
What's your advice to someone that is in a small town that's creative? Maybe they don't feel like they fit in, they love people there, but they want to break out.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I was there for a really long time, and the reality is at some point you will have to get out, depending on whatever your eventual goal and your desire is. But to create where you are. When I first moved to New Orleans and made my first short film, I wasn't in LA, but it mattered, right? It gave me the skills that I needed to put together a team and to lead that team. I did a good 10 other films in Louisiana before I made my feature film. And I did that in Atlanta, Georgia, you know? And so it's just, you know, where you are, create where you are, because you're going to need those skills as you move further and further along down the line. One thing that I do see difficult, and I identify with a lot of these people who go to film school, where the process is set up for you. It's told, you know, you don't have to go find a script supervisor. There's somebody that's there that's gonna be a script supervisor. And so when they get out and get into the real world, they really struggle because the foundation to create is not established for them. They have to go make it happen for themselves. So creators like myself who have that fortitude to just get out and make it happen, it'll give you a competitive advantage when you actually get into the real world, because this is how you actually have to put it together. You gotta barter, you gotta work with people, you gotta have people intelligence. You have to have all those things in order to just get your work out in the most nuanced way that you possibly can.
Do you think there's a danger to being a creator in a small town?
I do think that it doesn't have its advantages. So one thing about being in a small town is your crew is not gonna be nearly as talented as what you would like them to be. I mean, just a first AC, you don't think about how much a first AC matters until you're in a situation where a first AC saves your production, right? A script supervisor, a lot. So in a lot of those small towns, you don't have access to those resources to be able to put it together at a very high level. But again, once you're able to put a film together, and you have to be smart and savvy about putting it together without a script supervisor, when you get a script supervisor, you're like, ooh, I'm living the good life. You make a film without a monitor. You like, I don't even know how I missed this, missed that, and the other until you get a monitor. You're like, oh, I'm living the good life. So for me, everything that I get, I feel like I'm in Disney World now. I'm like, oh, I have 2 ACs in this film department. Like, let's go. You know, where before you're training in person on how to hold the boom mic properly. And so those are the disadvantages, but it's such a refining of you as a filmmaker. And it's a necessary lesson that you will be able to carry all the way up to an HBO production.
Do you think it's dangerous for a creator to be in a small town and create? The backlash sometimes?
I think it depends on what the creator's saying. If the creator is really moving the needle forward in a dark place, there probably could necessarily be some backlash, or they're doing subject matter that is, you know, not socially acceptable, whatever their society may be. So there could be some dangers, but the beautiful thing is the internet really just levels the playing field, because now you can find an audience. Even if it's not directly where you are, you can find an audience to connect with your work. And I mean, whether that's a comedy or whether it's it's a horror, you can find your audience. And so the internet is able to accomplish a lot of those disadvantages that small towns kind of give you nowadays.